During high school, everyone's had that moment where they've been like, I need that big like movie star like transformation. I remember looking through Pinterest and making all these boards and watching all these YouTubers of every single tip, trick, everything, like constantly revising these different ideas, these tips everyone was giving. I know it can seem like a lot. Growing up seems like a expensive, unachievable, like crazy process, really, but it doesn't have to be that. And that's exactly what we're here to talk about, because guess what, there's only a few simple rules to this game, and I'm sharing with you my top 3 only tips you will need every single time. Max that little version of yourself. Let's get straight to it. Welcome to the very first video on this channel. I am Manasa Lokesh. Now, while I want to get into all the nitty-gritty and just throw all the tips onto you guys, I will say one thing to always remember when you're doing anything related to self-improvement, or you're trying to get this new, better version of yourself, you aren't set in stone. And that's the first thing I want to talk about, is don't set yourself up for self-limiting beliefs before you even get started. In order for you to actually put something in, you need to open that door. That door cannot be open if you already believe it is shut. You need to let go of everything you understood about yourself prior to this. Oh, I'm not photogenic, I can't be in front of a camera, I can't talk, I don't know how to talk to people, I'm shy. Like, that's not me. If you know you want to be confident, you setting a preset belief of you being shy and sticking to it already puts you in a bubble where this new reality that you're trying to achieve does not exist. And that can't actually help you on your journey of becoming the more confident version of yourself. You're never a concrete being. Like, think of yourself as literally clay. You're clay, and your mind, how you're ready to, your intention is what sculpts this mold. Your intention is what sculpts this clay. And the better you put your intention towards becoming this new and improved version of yourself, whatever that might be, the better your results are actually going to turn out for you. If you start off understanding yourself as someone that is limited by who they are, you're not unlocking that door for unlimited potential. So that's the first thing you should look into, is understanding that you're never set in stone. You can always do something else. You can always start off something new. Like, you can wake up the next day, choose to be a different person every single day. You can be anything you wish to be. Like, this world is your oyster. Like, no one's gonna stop you. Who's gonna tell you what? People from high school, like, oh, that's not you, you're a shy little girl. Okay, so what? Like, you're different now because you chose to be, and who's gonna tell you otherwise? And if they're too scared of your light now, imagine how scared they'll be of your light in the future without all the beliefs they've already set on you. People do not actually dictate who you are. You dictate who you are. Once you finally let go of the fact that, like, people will always say what they want to say, people will always put you in a bubble because that's what they're known to do, that's what they've like conditioned themselves to do, and that's not their fault either. Like, that's what society does. But should you let that get in your way? Absolutely not. Like, you can choose exactly who you want to be every single day, and I mean it. Like, the belief in yourself to be this like exponential individual, that's what's gonna get you started on self-improvement. That's what you need to do first, because any little mindset tip, any little hack, whatever you're hearing on YouTube from anyone else, is not going to work unless you let go of the old limiting beliefs you have. You're an energetic being. Your energy moves, energy shifts, energy just becomes exactly what it wants to be. The more you direct your energy into becoming something that you want to be, and assuming and believing and affirming that you are this individual, the more your body and your circumstances will accustom themselves to moving you to that new reality. The dream version of you already exists. like energetically, if you're able to envision your dream version of yourself, that version of yourself already exists. It's just a matter of time where you step out of the bubble you've created for yourself. Do be gentle with yourself. You can't actually push yourself to become someone that is loving, confident, and just expansive if you have a doubtful inner voice. Learn to have authority over your mind. When your mind and your thoughts start listening to what you have to say, that's when you've retracted your power back. You're no longer a victim to your vessel. You're no longer a victim to these doubtful thoughts and these people and what they're saying. Retract your power back always and know that you are in full control. And that brings me to point number 2. In order to become something, you actually need to understand what that is. Let's say you get casted for an acting role. You're casted to play the part of the dream version of yourself. You need to actually understand that in order to fully and successfully play this part, you need to understand who this character is and what she looks like. So that begins with actually creating a clear vision. Clear vision will allow you to understand what this person's everyday looks like in order to eventually incorporate that into your everyday. Because a dream will end up being a dream unless you have actionable steps. Goals without actionable steps end up just being dreams. Goals with actionable steps end up actually being strategic visions. So here's our strategy in this game. The only way you experience the outside world is through your senses. You don't actually know what's happening around you unless you see it through your senses, unless you hear it through your senses, unless you smell it, you touch it, you taste it. That's what's interacting with everything around you. Your environment and perception kind of depends on your senses. So you're gonna find out how the dream version of yourself links to each one of these senses. For example, what are you tasting? What are you eating? Like, what is your everyday dieting like? Are you eating healthy? Are you eating clean foods? Because that's a very implementable step. You can start waking up and making yourself some breakfast smoothies. So what you're doing is actually acclimatizing your already body into the new version of yourself. The version of yourself you feel like is a dream, but she actually is very much within reach if you start incorporating her with each one of your senses. What does she see? Does she see like healthy, happy relationships? Does she see good friendships, like people that actually fulfill you, people that give you energy, actually move you towards prosperity and abundance as opposed to pull you down? If you see yourself and you look around you and you see your environment is not enough for you to grow, put yourself in positions where you know you can grow. This can be as simple as, if you see yourself being healthy, going to the gym. Putting yourself in a place where people are focused on their health, people are focused on their improvement, will put you in the right mindset and see what you can grow into. If you can't feel and interact with an environment where you can grow into it, it's kind of hard for you to eventually become this person. You're trying to grow this person from inside out, not from outside in. You're not trying to incorporate something aside from you internally. You're just changing internally, and it shows in your outside senses, shows in the things that you interact with, shows in the things that you prioritize. A good way to understand yourself, as anyone would have told you, a good mood board. I stand by a good mood board. Like, 2024 was such an amazing year for me because I started mood boarding. Like, being able to wake up and constantly see your mood board, like, puts you, every time I woke up I just saw my mood board and I knew what I was working towards every single day. Like, I knew the energy, like I knew the essence through the photos, like what they were implying, like a healthy lifestyle, or they were just implying like playfulness and like fun, snarky, like going out, educated, and just prosperous. I create a playlist for the character I want to play. The character needs a song. We need a theme song. Like, I love making a good Spotify playlist and giving her a name, like this alter ego, a name before, and like the feeling of the music, like how the music feels is kind of putting you in that energy, in that aesthetic, while you're just incorporating it into your senses. So it can be as simple as a good mood board, like visually a good song, like audibly. Like, that's what was emanating from my mood board, then that's what I'm going to eventually work towards without actually putting conscious effort into it, because that is what I'm trying to acclimatize towards. That's what I'm constantly making familiar to me, so then my environment does the same. It's just how you start to incorporate these things to become part of you over time, which will make the difference in the long term. Creating a clear vision makes sure you play the part, and you play the part so good every single time, my love. Let's say you want to start going gym, you want to drink a smoothie, you want to read a book, you want to do design, you want to learn sewing, you want to do cooking. You have all these things, and at first when you look at it, it seems like a lot, it seems unachievable. But when I tell you, a good schedule would do you so well. Sitting down and actually finding a way to put all these things into a everyday schedule. Like, how are you actually achieving these things? You think, how do all these successful people do so many things in that year? They don't just walk up on these things. They actually plan, and it's this integrated way of planning and integrated habits that actually make a successful individual in the long run. Usually for you to get into a habit is a repeated action which becomes almost second nature. It becomes part of your identity. When you're trying to build this character, you want these habits to actually become a part of that identity. What you're gonna do is, let's say you want to start reading a book. You're not going to focus on anything else. You're going to fully direct your energy onto reading a book every single day, however long it may be, 5 pages, 5 minutes even. You put that time aside. You continue to read this book every single day at whatever given time. Just find 5 minutes in your day at first. Then you can start looking into having a specific time that you actually read a book. You're going to do this for around 2 months. As soon as you hit the 2-month mark, usually you don't actually have that burden of making yourself do it every single time. That burden of discipline gets lesser and lesser and lesser with time, because you're actually making this a habit. You're making it part of your identity. You're part of your everyday schedule, to where you don't think about it twice. It becomes kind of like brushing your teeth every day, you know? Pick one thing you want to start off with and stay consistent with it for 2 months until it becomes second nature to you. Unconsciously, with this intention, what you're doing is you're building a beautiful routine with all these habits that you wanted to achieve, which at first felt too out of reach, but now it's practical. It's built through a system. This process is always about a journey and not destination. Growing up is actually more about like the process. Transforming into her and that version of yourself is actually more to cherish in the actual process of getting there, as opposed to getting there, because there's always going to be a new thing to find. Statistics literally show people that have won the lottery and have that spike of happiness for the first few years, and it just drops straight back down to average level after a while. All these things that they seem like that golden ticket to eternal happiness, more times than not, they don't actually last. Looking back at everything that you've been through in this new improved form version of yourself is more rewarding than actually just getting there, because once you get there, you're gonna look back and you're just gonna build confidence because you got there, not necessarily because you just woke up one night and was a different individual and that's what you wanted to be. You look back at everything that you've worked towards. You look back at your journey up until this point, and that's when you realize that self-improvement is a beautiful and it's such a beautiful, enjoyable process. Like, don't kill the fun in it by like being too hard on yourself. Like, things take time, and this is a process. Like you need to romanticize your life, romanticize the process, fall in love with the process. That's when you glow up exponentially. You don't just glow up once. You will never stop glowing up, because you've always chosen that. You've always chosen to do these things for yourself, and you've chosen to just love, and like love so expansively that it just pours into your environment, so the world literally falls into your arms. Like, we're never entirely satisfied, and you're always gonna have a new thing, but that's in a way the best part. You're always gonna have a new goal. You're always gonna have something to look forward to. There's always gonna be a next step. In the meantime, actually enjoy the process. Thank you so much for joining me, and I loved having this conversation with you today. I hope you get started. I hope you put that planning book down, and I hope you get to writing, because next week we're gonna have a new video for you. And also check out the audio version of all these videos, accessible to you 24/7, anytime, anywhere on Spotify. So under the name Disgustingly Prosperous. I will leave the link down below. Yeah, see you next week, and we stay disgustingly prosperous. Bye.